Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the 3-game NBA main slate on Thursday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. Also making videos for NBA Top Shot. Guys, pretty exciting stuff right now going on in the NBA Top Shot world. We got KD with the commercial and apparently some news possibly tomorrow as well. So a lot of big news with the NBA Top Shot. Again, I've been having a lot of fun on the platform, and I do have videos up if that is something that interests you. If you guys are unable to watch the YouTube videos, I also upload on Apple Podcasts. Link is in the description below. It is called the DK DFS Show. Premium content for DFS. I offer that on patreon.com. Cover the NFL, NBA, main, and showdown slates. And the sponsor of this video, guys, is Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is a player prop site. We're actually building out a lineup on player props, and they have some pretty decent size contests here for NBA. $5,000 guaranteed prize point, or guaranteed prize pool, I should say. First place $1,500. Like, there's some pretty good prizes here. And basically how it works is for bigger slates, you pick 10 of the 20 player props. For smaller slates like this one, you pick 5 of the 10. The less probable the prop is to occur, the more points you receive if you choose correctly. So obviously there's some game theory like Luka Doncic. 24.5 fantasy points. The over is more likely to hit, but you only get 95 points. Or the under is less likely to hit, but if it does hit, you get more points. So, yeah, and again, no one is really covering Thrive Fantasy, so there's definitely an edge here, guys. And if you guys want to try it out, you can sign up and use my code, DKDFS. It is DKDFS, all one word. You'll get a 100% match up to $100. Basically, you deposit using my code $100. That is a free $100 to use on the site. And finally, I want to thank you guys for your continued support on this channel. Everyone that came and tried to live stream with me and Matt today. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Hope you guys had a good night tonight. And yeah, let's quickly look back, man, up here from Wednesday's slate. Okay, so 3 games. We have one out right now. It's a 210.5 over under, and the Knicks are 2.5 point favorites. So definitely a lower total one. We'll start on the Phoenix Suns side, who this team caused me just an immense amount of pain last game. We'll get to that. So the 2 guards, Booker and Chris Paul. Devin Booker went for 70 fantasy points last game, 48 real life points. Now that was definitely an outlier. Like, he did shoot really, really well, but he does have that type of upside, right? Devin Booker can break a slate whenever he's on the court. So 8.3 is certainly a reasonable price point. I do think the ownership might be a little bit inflated because of the recent game, but again, he does have that type of upside. He still has a floor, though. Like, Devin Booker can go for like 25 fantasy points if he really struggles from the field, right? 28 here against Toronto, shot 4 of 18, 30 here against the Clippers, shot 5 of 22, right? So the ceiling is high, right? But the floor is also relatively low if he's not knocked down his shots. So you always have to factor that in with Devin Booker. It's basically my same analysis with these 2 Phoenix guards every single time, unless someone is very underpriced, right? Chris Paul, probably a little bit higher floor because of the peripheral stats. He still has a ceiling, but I would say the Devin Booker ceiling is like 60, 70. The Chris Paul ceiling, probably like 50-ish, right? So maybe not as high of a ceiling, but I think a little bit of a higher floor just because he's going to be doing more of the ball handling. Now, the wings, honestly, not a ton that stands out to me with the likes of Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Jay Crowder. Like, Bridges at 4.8, he'll play big minutes, so that's the positive, I guess, but he's not high usage at all. More out there for his defense. Cam Johnson with Jay Crowder back, the minutes have been went down for him a bit. I think on average we're getting like low 20s minutes, which doesn't really stand out as price point. Crowder himself with Cam Johnson back lost a few minutes. I think we're getting 25 to 28 minutes, which kind of just makes him a fair play at 4.4K. I'll mention Campaign at 4.2. They've been running more 3-guard lineups here for Phoenix, and we know Campaign's not a bad point per minute guy. So, like, I think he's a decent value play. It's also nice he has that shooting guard eligibility. Okay, just needed a little deep breath here to talk about these bigs. All right. Well, first, JaVale McGee. I think it's, without DeAndre Ayton, I think it's pretty clear, right? JaVale McGee makes for a great value play. He's going to start and probably play low 20s minutes. He played 23 minutes last game. Now, he definitely had a floor game in 23 minutes, only 18 fantasy points. Like, if you told me JaVale McGee goes for 23 minutes again, I'm thinking he's going for like 30-plus fantasy points. So, at 4K, I think he makes for one of the best values in the slate. Good point per minute guy. Don't think we can expect huge minutes, but yeah, I think McGee looks good. So, the reason I was in so much pain last slate was I went to Jalen Smith, who played the backup 5 the previous game. He got a DNP. He got 2 minutes of garbage time. So, they went to Bismack Biyombo, who absolutely smashed in that time. It should have been Jalen Smith, but I'm very happy for Bismack Biyombo and all those that played him. Very happy. All right, so here's the thing. 2 games ago, it was Jalen Smith that played the backup 5. Last game was Biyombo. Take a look at the depth chart for Phoenix. They do have Jalen Smith listed ahead of Bismack Biyombo. And I'm not going to put too much weight into that. But my thing is, I don't know who's going to play the backup 5 here. I don't know if it's going to be Smith or Biyombo, or could it be both. They could run a 3-headed center rotation, which would really hurt everyone. So I really don't know. Did Bismack Biyombo get the backup 5 run because of the matchup against the Spurs? Do they need Biyombo against the Mavs, who are kind of a small, like, I don't know. I would think Jalen Smith probably matched up a little bit better against like Kleba or Porzingis. But that's the big question. So, like, if you're confident that one of these guys is going to the backup 5 run, then go ahead and play him. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know who it's going to be. So, if you want to take a shot in either Biyombo or Jalen Smith, then totally get it. Like, I think they're good plays, but I really don't know who the backup 5 is going to be in this game. So it makes it really tricky. On the Dallas side, so is Luka now back? Because he has been just absolutely smashing last couple games. Had an awful shooting game 2 games ago. Stolen for 67. Now he goes for 13 of 24 shooting and 72 fancy points against a tough Toronto defense. So love to see it. The price also dropped on Luka, so I think he makes for one of the better spend-ups. Sure, Phoenix, known for a better defensive team, but also, again, 42 minutes. And that was in regulation, right? That game did not go to overtime and played 42 minutes. So if we're going to get 40 minutes from Luka Doncic, I think he makes for a really good spend-up. Now, Porzingis was definitely a letdown. He started the 5, played the minutes, just disappointing. It was just the Luka show. I don't think Porzingis will get much ownership because of that, but the positive is here's the minutes, right? He was no longer on a limit. So I don't mind Porzingis at 7.6. I don't think he's going to be super popular. As far as his secondary plays go for Dallas, I mean, Jalen Brunson is still getting like low 30s minutes, but a little bit hard for me to prioritize him. Tim Hardaway Jr., you kind of know the drill by now. I think, mid to high 20s minutes. He is scoring dependent, but he's also not super expensive. Dorian Finney-Smith, another guy that will play big minutes. Not going to be super productive, but he's a relatively safe value because of the minutes, right? Kleba at 3.9, did play 25 minutes last game, didn't do much. Again, more of a secondary value. Same with Dwight Powell at 3.3. Like, he played 17 minutes, so you will get some run from the likes of Powell and Kleba, but when Porzingis is out there, neither are going to be super productive, right? And then I'll mention him, Reggie Bullock. Makes me want to puke, but he'll probably play close to 20 minutes, and it's the flat min price, but not productive at all when he's on the court. All right, Pelicans and Knicks. So the only piece of news we're waiting for here is Devontae Graham is currently questionable. So if he misses, we'll see they do the starting lineup, whether it be Alvarado, whether they move NAW, go into the starting lineup, or Tomas Satoransky. Again, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But at the top, so Brandon Ingram and JV, I think are both pretty safe. The only downside here is the matchup. Like, the Knicks play really slow. They play at a snail's pace. But, with Ingram and with JV, I think Ingram probably get, 35 to 38 minutes, and he's been pretty consistent this year. And then Jonas Valanciunas at 7.7. Minutes have been a little bit down from earlier in the year, but he's still playing low 30s, and we know he'll be productive when he's on the court. So I think both the Pelicans' main guys look pretty good. I think Josh Hart is another pretty safe play in the mid-range, right? Should play mid to high 30s minutes. A guy that can kind of contribute in a lot of different ways. And the price has come down, right? 6.3K I think is more than fair for him. So the top 3 guys I think look pretty good. Devontae Graham, if he ends up playing, hard for me to prioritize him. Like more of just a secondary play. Now, if he misses, again, do they go to NAW? Do they go to Alvarado, who at times has been, getting some minutes in this rotation? Do they go to like Satoransky? who has basically been out of the rotation. Like, we would have to see. Like, my favorite would be NAW because I think he's the best point per minute guy of those guards I just mentioned. No, he's definitely been struggling this year, but he's still going to be aggressive on the offensive end when he's out there. So that is the positive with a guy like NAW. And then I got to talk about Herbert Jones, too. I think it makes her pretty safe value. Like, he's a good defender. If he stays out of foul trouble, he's going to play low to mid 30s minutes. So a good amount to like here for the Pelicans, even in a tough matchup. As far as the backup center goes, Jackson Hayes probably gets 15-ish minutes. So I think he is playable as a salary relief option there. Could have more upside, obviously, if JV gets in some foul trouble. All right, on the Knicks side, so no Derrick Rose, no Cam Reddish is out for a while, no Well. We'll start with Julius Randle. I think makes for the safest option of this group. Should play probably close to 40 minutes. And yeah, he's a guy that can kind of contribute in a lot of different ways. So no issue going to Julius Randle there. RJ Barrett finally came back down to earth. Like, he was just on fire. Shot 6 of 16, 1 for 25 fantasy points. I think he's playable. Ownership, I think it'll be relatively high because of the amount of minutes he's playing. But the price point just doesn't really stand out to me. Burks is completely out of play with Kemba Walker back. Kemba Walker himself at 6.1. I think we get around 30 minutes from him, which makes him, viable. We've seen some upside Kemba games. So, yeah, definitely in play. Evan Fournier just had a massive game, 1 for 45 fantasy points. Like, he does have upside. And every once in a while, like I said, you're going to get the random Fournier game. But you also have to factor in that he can go for 5 fantasy points and completely kill you. So, he's always someone you can consider in tournaments, but just know the floor is low. Mitchell Robinson got in foul trouble last game, only played 20 minutes. I think on average, we're getting closer to that 30-minute mark. That's what we've been seeing recently. So, again, fair play. Not a bad point per minute guy. Quickly at 4K, lost minutes. Like, he was basically out of the rotation last game, which was a little bit concerning. Taj Gibson got extended run last game because Robinson was in foul trouble. And that's really it. Like, they're running a pretty tight rotation. Like, Obi is not playing alongside Randall, so it's really hard to go there. So yeah, let's finish up here with the Pacers and the Warriors. So Domantas Sabonis at 10K, I think he's your safest bet. Where Golden State struggles is in the front court defensively, right? No Draymond Green. So he'll be matched up against the likes of like Looney, Bielitsa, or like Kuminga. So I think Sabonis looks very, very safe here. Should play 35 plus minutes in a competitive game. So the only thing you have to worry about here, I think, is the blowout. Golden State obviously is one of the better teams in the NBA. Now with LeVert and Brogdon, so LeVert took over in the fourth quarter. They don't have the updated stats up, I believe, yet. No, they don't. But if Brogdon plays in a back-to-back, then both more secondary plays. If Brogdon is out, if they rest him here, then I really, really like LeVert. Justin Holiday will play big minutes, but again, low usage guy, so more of a secondary option. Duarte definitely in play for salary relief as well. Would look better if Brogdon rests here. The likes of like O'Shea Brissett and Torrey Craig should get some minutes, but neither really stand out. Gogo is basically DNP, and that was what I was worried about. I talked about that. I was like, yeah, the Lakers, they like running small ball, so I'm not sure he gets the minutes, and he played like 2 minutes. They went to Isaiah Jackson, actually, who, again, Golden State, kind of a small ball team, so maybe Isaiah Jackson gets the backup 5 run in this one as well. But, yeah, I think the big piece of news we got to keep an eye on is whether or not Brogdon plays. I think he's been dealing with that Achilles all year, on a back-to-back. I'm not 100% sure he gives it a go here. So if he sat, and Lance Stevenson could be more in play at 4-1, right? Just open up a little bit more for the Pacers and make LeVert and Duarte look pretty good. Finally, Golden State. So Steph Curry, 10-5. As I always say with Steph, he's going to let you down more often than he comes through, but it's a small slate. I think he gets some ownership. And if the game stays competitive, he does have upside. So Steph, always someone I consider GPPs. We have no Draymond, no Porter, no Wiseman. Wiggins doesn't really stand out to me at 6'6". He caused me an immense pain a couple games ago when I finally played him, and he went for 15 fantasy points. The guard, so Klay Thompson at 5'3". The minutes have been ticking up a little bit. He played 22 in a blowout. I think we're getting, probably around 25 minutes here from Klay, which at this price point, I think makes him a decent option that does have upside if he can get hot like he did last game. Jordan Poole at 5'4". Most likely comes off the bench and plays low 20s minutes. Again, viable for tournaments. Kevon Looney at 4'5". I think we get low 20s minutes, which is makes him a fair value play. He definitely does get a boost without Draymond Green on the court. They said they're going to continue to start Kuminga, so I think Kuminga makes for a good value, assuming he can stay out of foul trouble. Like Kuminga has gained confidence over the last couple of weeks, and he's been way more aggressive on the offensive end. So I think Kuminga looks like a good value. The only downside I'll say here is I think the ownership will be inflated, and you always got to factor in that like the minutes are just never guaranteed for any of these secondary options on Golden State. Bench guys for the Warriors, like Gary Payton's only 3.9. Sure, he's playable. Bielitsa 3.6 should get some backup 5 run. Again, viable in a larger field tournament. Iguodala at 3.2 sat that last game, but he's back. I think we get low 20s minutes in competitive game. He's probably the guy I feel the best about coming off the bench for Golden State. And yeah, that's really it. Like, if you think the game blows out, then yeah, you can consider maybe like a Damian Lee, or some of these more end of the bench guys. The only issue with that is Golden State just has such a deep bench. Like they'll dust off Moses Moody if the game turns into a massive blowout. They have Chioza, JTA. They just have too many guys. So like even if you play for the blowout, it's hard to feel confident about the guys who are actually going to get those minutes in the blowout. But yeah, guys, that will do it for the video today. So if you have been enjoying the content, just make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Really appreciate all you guys coming and check out the videos every single day. Really do, guys. So thanks again. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.